Do you ever feel like society has already written your story for you? Simply because of the number of candles on your birthday cake, do you sometimes catch yourself believing certain things about getting older? Things that make you feel a little less capable, a little less vibrant, or a little less excited about what's ahead. It's a painful reality that many of us face, quietly accepting limitations that simply aren't true. We're often fed a narrative that aging is a process of inevitable decline, a steady downhill slope where our bodies weaken, our minds dim, and our spirits fade. But what if I told you that much of what you've been led to believe about aging isn't just slightly off, but is actually a complete fabrication? What if many of those feelings of getting old aren't from your true capabilities, but from deeply ingrained myths that have been passed down through generations? It's time to uncover the truth, to break free from these outdated ideas that hold us back from living our fullest, most joyful lives. In this video, we're going to dive deep into 6 common aging myths that make you feel old, but are totally, unequivocally false. We'll expose these misconceptions and replace them with empowering truths that will not only change your perspective, but also give you practical ways to reclaim your vitality. Get ready to challenge everything you thought you knew about growing older, because by the end of this journey together, you'll see that your potential is ageless. Watch to the end for something that will surprise you. A truth about aging that could completely change your perspective and ignite a new passion for your future. Let's start by tackling one of the most pervasive myths that seems to cast a shadow over our later years. The idea that significant memory loss is an unavoidable part of aging, almost like a natural tax we pay for living a long life. How often have you heard someone say, or perhaps even thought, to yourself, "Oh, my memory just isn't what it used to be. It must be my age." This belief, that cognitive decline is an inevitable companion to gray hairs, is not only disheartening but demonstrably false. While it's true that some aspects of memory processing might slow down a bit as we age, like the speed at which we recall a name or a specific fact, this is very different from experiencing a widespread, debilitating loss of memory. Our brains are incredibly adaptable, plastic, and capable of forming new connections and even new neurons well into our 70s, 80s, and beyond. Think of your brain not as a hard drive that slowly fills up and wears out, but more like a muscle that thrives on consistent use and challenge. The principle of use it or lose it applies just as much to our minds as it does to our bodies. So, how do we actively challenge this myth and keep our minds sharp and engaged? It's simpler than you might think, and it doesn't involve complex brain training games that feel like homework. One of the most effective strategies is to continuously engage in novel learning experiences. This could be anything from picking up a new language, even just a few phrases a day, to learning to play a musical instrument, solving jigsaw puzzles, or diving into a new hobby that requires active problem solving, like woodworking or knitting complex patterns. Each time you learn something new, you're creating new neural pathways, strengthening existing ones, and essentially giving your brain a fantastic workout. Consider Mary, who at 78 decided she wanted to learn Spanish because her granddaughter was studying abroad in Spain. She started with online lessons and a simple app. Initially, she found it challenging, confusing verb conjugations and struggling with pronunciation. But she persisted, dedicating just 15 minutes a day. After a year, she could hold basic conversations with her granddaughter, understand parts of Spanish movies, and felt a profound sense of accomplishment. She noticed not just an improvement in her Spanish, but a general feeling of mental clarity and sharpness that she hadn't felt in years. Beyond structured learning, simple daily habits can make a huge difference. Reading widely, engaging in lively discussions with friends and family, and even trying new routes when you go for a walk can all stimulate your brain. Additionally, factors like consistent, quality sleep are absolutely crucial. Our brains do a lot of housekeeping during sleep, consolidating memories and clearing out waste products. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of restorative sleep each night. What you eat also plays a significant role. A diet rich in omega-3 fatty acids, found in fatty fish like salmon, and antioxidants from berries, leafy greens, and colorful vegetables can help protect brain cells and reduce inflammation. Staying socially connected is another powerful tool against memory decline. Conversations, laughter, and shared experiences all stimulate brain activity and provide emotional support, which in turn reduces stress, a known contributor to cognitive issues. So, rather than accepting inevitable mental decline, empower yourself with the knowledge that your brain is resilient and eager to learn. Give it the challenges and nourishment it craves, and watch how it continues to amaze you. Now, let's move on to another myth that often discourages us from even trying to maintain our physical strength, the belief that you simply can't build muscle after a certain age, and that a steady decline in strength is an unavoidable part of getting older. This myth often leads to a cycle where people become less active, thinking it's pointless to try, which then does lead to muscle loss. But here's the truth. Your muscles are incredibly responsive to stimulation at any age. While the rate of muscle growth might be slightly slower in older adults compared to younger ones, the ability to build and maintain muscle mass persists well into our 70s, 80s, and even 90s. The medical term for age-related muscle loss is sarcopenia, and while it's common, it's largely preventable and, crucially, reversible. Why is this so important? Because muscle isn't just about looking strong, it's fundamental to our independence, our metabolism, our balance, and our overall quality of life. Strong muscles help prevent falls, make everyday tasks like carrying groceries or getting out of a chair easier, and even contribute to better bone density. So, what's the secret to defying this myth? Strength training. And before you imagine needing to lift heavy barbells or join a competitive gym, let me reassure you that effective strength training for older adults can be incredibly gentle and accessible. It can involve using your own body weight, resistance bands, or very light dumbbells. The key is consistency and progressive overload, meaning gradually increasing the challenge as you get stronger. You could start with simple exercises like chair squats, where you sit down and stand up from a chair without using your hands, or wall push-ups, which involve leaning against a wall and pushing yourself away. Resistance bands are fantastic because they offer resistance throughout the movement and are very portable. Even a short session of 20 to 30 minutes, 2 to 3 times a week, can yield remarkable results. Think about John, who at 72 found himself struggling to lift his young grandchildren without feeling a strain in his back. He started with a simple routine of bodyweight exercises he found online: wall push-ups, chair squats, and bicep curls with light supcons. Slowly, he progressed to light dumbbells. Within 6 months, not only could he lift his grandkids with ease, but he also noticed he had more energy throughout the day. His balance felt steadier, and he could carry his own shopping bags without needing help. He wasn't aiming to be a bodybuilder, just to live his life with greater ease and independence. And he achieved that, and more. Along with strength training, adequate protein intake is vital. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at using protein to build and repair muscle. So we actually need a little more of it. Aim for sources like lean meats, fish, eggs, dairy, and plant-based options like lentils, beans, and tofu with each meal. Don't forget consistent movement throughout the day. Even short walks can keep your muscles active and engaged. So, dismiss the myth that muscle loss is your destiny. Embrace the truth that your body is a remarkable machine, capable of building and adapting, and that investing in your strength will pay dividends in vitality, independence, and the joy of everyday life. Next, we encounter a piece of advice that, while seemingly well-intentioned, can actually do more harm than good: the myth that, as you get older, you should slow down, take it easy, and rest more. This idea often comes from a place of concern, a belief that exerting yourself is risky, or that your body simply isn't up to the task anymore. But here's the paradox. While adequate rest is crucial, too much rest, or a significant reduction in overall activity, can actually speed up the aging process and diminish your quality of life. Our bodies are designed for movement. When we stop moving, our muscles weaken faster, our bones lose density, our circulation becomes sluggish, and even our mood can suffer. The human body, particularly as we age, thrives on moderate, consistent activity. Think about it if you keep a car parked in the garage indefinitely. It's more likely to develop problems than one that's driven regularly, albeit gently. The same principle applies to us. Staying active helps maintain joint flexibility, improves cardiovascular health, boosts your immune system, and releases endorphins, which are natural mood elevators. It's not about high-impact sports or extreme workouts. It's about finding activities you enjoy that keep you moving. This could be anything from brisk walking in your local park, taking up gentle swimming or water aerobics, tending to a garden, learning to dance, or even just incorporating more movement into your daily routine. Like taking the stairs instead of the elevator or parking a little further away from the shop entrance. Consider Joan, who at 68 after retiring, initially embraced the idea of taking it easy. She spent more time on the sofa, watching TV, and found herself feeling increasingly lethargic, her joints stiffening, and her mood dipping. She heard about the benefits of gentle activity and decided to try. She started by simply walking to the end of her street and back each day. Slowly, she extended her walks, eventually joining a local walking group. The fresh air, the gentle exercise, and the social interaction transformed her. She not only felt physically stronger and more energetic, but her outlook brightened considerably. She realized that slowing down was actually making her feel older, whereas staying active was making her feel younger and more vibrant. The key here is to listen to your body, certainly, and to choose activities that are appropriate for your current fitness level, but never to use age as an excuse to stop moving altogether. Regular movement, even if it's just gentle, consistent activity, is a powerful antidote to many of the perceived downsides of aging. It keeps your body humming, your mind clear, and your spirit light. Moving on from physical activity, let's address another common, yet deeply flawed, assumption. The myth that older people can't learn new things or adapt to technology. This belief often manifests in dismissive attitudes, jokes about older individuals struggling with smartphones, or a general reluctance to introduce new concepts or technologies to seniors. But the truth is, the human brain retains its neuroplasticity, its ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout our entire lives. While it might take a little longer to process new information or to master a complex new skill, the capacity to learn and adapt remains firmly intact. This myth isn't just limiting, it's profoundly isolating. In an increasingly digital world, being unable or unwilling to engage with technology can cut individuals off from vital connections, services, and opportunities for enjoyment and personal growth. But it's not just about technology. It's about any new skill, any new subject, any new way of thinking. The joy and mental stimulation that come from mastering something new. Whether it's learning to use a video calling app to connect with grandchildren, taking an online course in a subject you've always been curious about, or even picking up a new craft like pottery or coding, are immense. Consider Robert, who at 75 had always been resistant to computers. His family lived far away, and he missed seeing his grandchildren grow up. His daughter patiently taught him how to use a tablet, starting with simple video calls. It was frustrating at first, with accidental hang-ups and confusion over icons. But Robert persevered. Soon, he wasn't just video calling. He was emailing friends, looking up recipes, watching documentaries on YouTube, and even joining an online forum for gardening enthusiasts. He found a renewed sense of connection and purpose, and his family marveled at his newfound digital fluency. He discovered a whole new world of information and interaction, proving that the only barrier to learning was the belief that he couldn't. The key here is patience and a willingness to embrace the learning process, which includes making mistakes. We often expect instant mastery, but learning, especially something entirely new, takes time and practice at any age. Break down new skills into small, manageable steps. Celebrate small victories. And remember that the effort itself, the active engagement of your brain in processing new information, is incredibly beneficial for cognitive health. regardless of the end result. So, discard the notion that your learning days are behind you. Embrace the incredible capacity of your mind to continue growing, adapting, and discovering new possibilities. So, the world is constantly evolving, and you absolutely have the capacity to evolve with it, keeping your mind sharp, curious, and endlessly engaged. And finally, let's confront a particularly harsh myth that can lead to profound loneliness and a diminished sense of self, the idea that all older people become grumpy, set in their ways, or isolated. This myth paints a picture of aging as a process of becoming rigid, resistant to change, and increasingly detached from society. It implies that personality inevitably narrows, and that social circles naturally shrink to nothing. But this couldn't be further from the truth. While some individuals may withdraw or become less open as they age, this is not an inevitable consequence of getting older. It's often a result of circumstances, health challenges, or unchecked negative mindsets. In fact, many people report feeling more content, less stressed, and more open to new experiences in their later years. Aging can bring a wonderful sense of freedom from societal pressures, a clearer understanding of what truly matters, and an opportunity to deepen existing relationships or forge entirely new ones. The idea that we become a grumpy old men or reclusive old women is a stereotype that does a great disservice to the vast diversity of experiences within the older population. Many older adults are actively engaged in their communities, pursuing new passions, volunteering, traveling, and maintaining vibrant social lives. The truth is, maintaining a positive outlook and fostering social connections are choices we can actively make, and they become even more important as we age. Loneliness is a significant health risk, but it's not an unavoidable fate. Consider Sarah, who at 70 found herself feeling somewhat adrift after her longtime friends moved away and her children were busy with their own lives. She started believing the myth that she was destined to be alone and grumpy. One day, she saw a flyer for a local community garden project. Hesitantly, she joined. She met people of all ages, shared stories, laughed, and worked together to grow vegetables. She discovered a hidden talent for gardening and, more importantly, a newfound sense of belonging and purpose. She found herself smiling more, looking forward to her garden days, and even initiating coffee meetups with her new friends. She realized that choosing to engage, even when it felt daunting, was the key to unlocking joy and connection. To actively combat this myth, prioritize social engagement. This could mean joining clubs or groups based on your interests, a book club, a hiking group, a bridge club, or even an online community. Volunteer your time for a cause you care about. It provides purpose, structure, and opportunities to meet like-minded people. Nurture your existing friendships and family relationships through regular contact, whether it's phone calls, video chats, or in-person visits. Be open to making new friends, attend local events, workshops, or classes. Cultivate an attitude of gratitude and mindfulness, focusing on the positive aspects of your life and the world around you. Your personality can continue to evolve and flourish, becoming richer and more nuanced with the wisdom of years. Don't let a tired old myth dictate your emotional landscape or your social calendar. Embrace the truth that every stage of life offers opportunities for growth, connection, and profound happiness, and you have the power to shape that experience. And now, for perhaps the most damaging myth of all, the one that can truly steal our joy and sense of future, the insidious belief that your best years are behind you, and that aging is purely a process of decline, devoid of new possibilities or profound fulfillment. This myth often manifests as a feeling of melancholy, a sense of having peaked, and a resignation that the most exciting, vibrant, or meaningful parts of life are over. It encourages us to look backward with longing rather than forward with anticipation. But I want to tell you, with absolute conviction, that this is profoundly untrue. In many ways, your later years can be, and often are, your best years yet. What does aging truly bring? It brings wisdom, a deeper understanding of yourself and the world, and often a freedom from the relentless pressures and expectations of youth and middle age. It can be a time of unparalleled self-discovery, of pursuing long-held passions that were once shelved due to career or family obligations. Consider the unique gifts that come with age, the perspective gained from navigating life's challenges, the patience cultivated through experience, the ability to discern what truly matters and to let go of what doesn't. You might have more time for travel, for hobbies, for volunteering, or simply for savoring the quiet moments of life. You have the opportunity to define your days on your own terms, free from the grind of a daily commute or the demands of raising a family. Think of Emily, who spent her entire adult life working as an accountant, a career she found fulfilling but creatively restrictive. When she retired at 67, she felt a brief moment of emptiness, fearing that her purpose was gone. But then she remembered a childhood dream of becoming a writer. She joined a local writing group, started attending workshops, and slowly began to craft stories. At 72, she published her first short story in a literary magazine. And at 75, her debut novel. She discovered a passion and a talent she never had time to explore before. And she often says she feels more alive, more engaged, and more truly herself now than at any other point in her life. Her golden years truly became golden, not because she was resting on her laurels, but because she dared to redefine what aging meant for her. To embrace this truth and shed the myth that your best years are behind you, start by actively reframing your perspective on aging. Instead of seeing it as a decline, view it as a transformation, a transition into a new, exciting chapter with its own unique advantages and opportunities. Create a bucket list for this phase of your life, not just of places to visit, but of experiences to have, skills to learn, and contributions to make. Reflect on your life's journey, on all you've accomplished and overcome. Acknowledge the incredible depth of character and resilience you've built over the years. This isn't just about looking at the bright side. It's about recognizing the profound wealth of experience and wisdom you now possess. Plan new adventures, whether they are grand trips around the world or simple, joyful explorations in your own community. Engage in self-discovery, perhaps through journaling, meditation, or simply spending quiet time reflecting on what truly brings you joy and purpose. Now, remember, the narrative of decline serves no one. It disempowers individuals and undervalues the immense contribution that older adults can and do make to society. Your unique perspective, your accumulated wisdom, and your life experiences are invaluable assets. You are not just aging, you are evolving, growing, and becoming an even more fascinating, complex, and remarkable version of yourself. So, as we bring our conversation to a close, let's briefly remember the powerful truths we've uncovered together. We've seen that significant memory loss is not an inevitable part of aging, but rather our brains remain wonderfully adaptable and can be kept sharp through continuous learning and healthy habits. We've debunked the idea that you can't build muscle after 60, proving that strength and vitality are achievable at any age through consistent, gentle effort. We've challenged the notion that you should slow down and rest more as you get older, discovering that moderate activity is actually the key to sustained energy and well-being. We've dismissed the stereotype that older people can't learn new things or adapt to technology, showing that our capacity for growth and adaptation is lifelong. We've overcome the myth that older people become universally grumpy or isolated, affirming that happiness and connection are choices we can actively make and cultivate. And most importantly, we've firmly rejected the idea that your best years are behind you, embracing the truth that aging can bring profound freedom, wisdom, and new opportunities for deep fulfillment. Remember, the power to define your later years, to make them truly vibrant and meaningful, lies entirely within you. Small, consistent changes in your mindset and your daily habits can make a colossal difference to your health, your happiness, and your overall sense of purpose. You're not defined by the myths society projects onto you. You're defined by your actions, your choices, and your unwavering spirit. What myth have you personally believed about aging, and how are you challenging it in your own life? We'd love to hear your thoughts, your experiences, and your triumphs in the comments section below. Your insights could be exactly what someone else needs to hear to start their own journey of rediscovery. If this video resonated with you, if it brought a smile to your face or a spark of hope to your heart, please take a moment to give it a thumbs up. That simple action truly helps us reach more people who need to hear this empowering message. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to our channel. We're here to provide you with more helpful content designed to support you in living your fullest, most vibrant life. No matter your age, thank you for joining me on this journey of debunking myths and embracing truth. You truly have the power to define your later years, to make them the most fulfilling chapters yet. Live your best life at every age.